everything from turning markets to trending markets, and not just in the equity asset class. I'm with Ed Ponzi of Real Money Pro and the Street's resident foreign exchange expert. What are we seeing in the FX market? Because there's some big disconnects, especially in exports.
Yes, exactly, Jill. One of the things that I'm very concerned about right now is the disconnect that we're seeing between the euro, which has been really just been hitting higher highs, and at the same time, the numbers in Europe, and particularly in Germany, which is the engine of Europe, are getting worse and worse. And you wonder how long this can continue before we see a little bit of a pullback in the euro.
Well, you had a great play on Real Money Pro with the yen. Walk us through that.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll tell you what. This is something I started writing about back in August, and I want to congratulate all the folks on Real Money Pro who made money on this. I'm very happy for you. What I want to say is that it was a political trade more than anything else. We have a new prime minister in Japan, and he is really exercising authority. He wants to exercise a lot of authority over the Bank of Japan and really sort of force them to seek inflation. I know that sounds funny, right? But Japan's been fighting deflation for the last 20 years. So they actually will have a target of 2% inflation. He wants to impose that on the Bank of Japan. And the way things are going, it looks like he's going to get his way.
Does it have any implications for the U.S. dollar?
Well, as the yen weakens, the dollar gets stronger in relation to it, and that's the two-sided coin side of foreign exchange trading. Now, here's the thing, right? There's a concern that maybe there's going to be retaliation at some point, because as the yen gets weaker, they get the export advantage. And then people wonder, well, will the U.S. do more? Will we increase quantitative easing to sort of fight back? Because this is very reminiscent of the currency wars of the 1930s, where it was France versus Britain versus the U.S. in a devaluation war. Now, back then, everybody was going on and off the gold standard. Nobody's on the gold standard now. That's from the past. But the way you do it in the 21st century, it's going to be devaluations through central bank easings, and that's sort of a competitive devaluation situation.
We're seeing a lot of activity pick up in the currency crosses. What's that telling you?
Okay, well, it's all country specific. The euro has been on fire, as we said. It just keeps going up. The British pound looks very weak right here. And the thing is this, is that we were in for a long period of time, and a lot of traders had a hard time because of this. We were in a very sideways, choppy environment for the last couple of years, just being pushed around by comments from central bankers and finance ministers. Now we're going into a more of a trending situation, and you're beginning to see the winners and losers emerge. The winners, I think, are going to be the euro, the Australian dollar. I think the losers are going to be the Japanese yen and the British pound, and possibly the U.S. dollar as well.
Now, what are your thoughts on this trillion-dollar coin? Because there is really a big difference between money versus value.
Okay, right. Now, here's the thing, right? The trillion-dollar coin isn't worth $1 trillion. If you made a trillion-dollar coin out of platinum, platinum's around 1,600 an ounce, so you'd need, the trillion-dollar coin would have to be around 306 tons in order to be truly worth $1 trillion. But what they're saying is, we're going to just create this little token and declare it to be worth $1 trillion. It's like, you could take your shoe and say, hey, this old shoe is worth $1 trillion. But they think they found a loophole. But here's the problem. If you do that once, then it's just going to happen again and again. And people say, well, if that money never goes into circulation, how does it weaken the dollar? And that's a really good question. If the money never goes into circulation, how does it weaken the dollar? It weakens the dollar because, first of all, if it works once, we're going to do it over and over again. Heck, they'll print one for every man, woman, and child. We'll all be trillionaires, but we won't be worth anything. Okay? So, in other words, other countries, if they see that we begin to act more like children than adults, why would they lend us money if we don't take it seriously? And that's really the problem with the mint the coin debate.